Welcome, everybody, to Marble Hill 225 Neighborhood and You. And it's all about the neighborhood and it's all about you. It's not about me, but it's about you and many people like yourselves, how you have progressed and what you are doing currently in this wonderful community called Marble Hill. So I say again, welcome to the show, Marble Hill 225 Neighborhood and You. And since it is about you, I have a wonderful you guest here with me today. His name is Tony Edwards. Welcome, Tony, to the show. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. Thank you for inviting me for this interview. I look forward to it.
Okay, so we're going to get to know Tony. For those who don't, most of us who do know him, we're glad to see him here and hear what he has to, the valuable information he has for us to give and share with us. But first, let's start with the most important thing. Tony, tell us and give us your roots and when you first came into the Marble Hill community and neighborhood. Give us your roots and your bio.
Okay. Whenever I'm asked this particular question, I always say that I am the child of the Marble Hill community, but the son of the Marble Hill houses. But to be a little bit more explicit, I was born and raised in Marble Hill. I still live in Marble Hill. I reside currently in Building 10, which has been my home for the last 61 years. Other than that, I've gone to the school, but basically most of the schools within this area, which is starting from PS7 to St. John's, Kennedy High School. Then college-wise, I went to Bronx Community and Lehman College.
Oh, you attended Lehman College and you received your graduate degree there, Tony?
Nah, I wish I went that far. No. I mean, all I have is an undergraduate in accounting from Lehman College. I have an associate's degree from Bronx Community in accounting as well.
Well, those are great accomplishments to have, okay? And those accomplishments led to, I'm sure, very good jobs for you. Tell us about your work career and your path there.
Well, work-wise, I think that one of the most memorable ones was working for Warner Communications. I actually got that job through Bronx Community, and I ended up working in the accounting department where rose from an accounting clerk to a junior accountant. From there, I actually went to the New York City Transit Authority. You may laugh, from junior accountant to the Transit Authority, I started off as a bus driver. Driving the bus paid more than being a junior accountant. But I continued on with my accounting work. And I graduated from Lehman College while I was driving the bus. And working for New York City Transit, not only was I a bus driver, I became an analyst, a budget analyst, a depot analyst, storeroom manager or regional manager for 8 storerooms of the bus division. And then from there, I became a superintendent and then retired.
Okay, well, Tony, I'm going to say this for myself, on behalf of myself and others out there. It's good knowing you. It's good having you. And I'm proud of you. And you have many accomplishments in your life, in your education, and also in your work career. Okay, so congratulations, Tony. Great, successful life you lived so far in both those departments, And
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I heard at one point you said, well, all I have. No, you have a lot, okay? Going to school, undergraduate degree, Bronx Community College, Lehman College, the jobs that you were afforded, you have a lot, brother. So, God bless you, and I'm thankful for being your friend and knowing you too, truly. Okay?
Thank you for saying that.
All right, you're welcome. And now, you have many achievements along your career path in working. Let's start out with your volunteer work at the office with Adrian Esplanade. Tell me how that started, what he was then, and who he is now.
Sure. What happened? How that began? I had just retired from New York City Transit. I also underwent minor surgery, and so once I recovered, I was looking for something to do to keep myself busy, and I ended up finding volunteer employment, so to speak, with then Assembly member Adriana Espelot, who currently is our current congressman. Um, with being the volunteer, one of the things I ended up doing was writing a grant, a $50,000 grant for the Marble Hill Tennis Association, along with assisting the Marble Hill Community Center. What the funding from this grant, it came from Con Edison, and its purpose was to provide the community with financial funding for any type of equipment or materials that was needed for either the tennis association or the community center. For example, the community center, one of the part of the money was supposed to be for a TV. Also, it helped with a trip to take their children to medieval times. For the tennis association, it helped them with as far as supplies, stationary supplies, things of that nature.
Okay, that's a wonderful accomplishment. And a lot of things are obtained, and we don't realize the work that goes behind the scenes and who's doing the work. So we thank you again. We applaud you for the work you did. And also, you said something very important, a volunteer, and that means that you did it from your heart. You enjoyed doing it, and your passion of being an accountant and working with numbers help, I'm sure, give you that drive to get it done. You know, I know with me, with numbers, I enjoy doing it. And like you said, yeah, you're a bus driver, but still you like accounting, and that's where your passion is because your face lights up when you talk about numbers in accounting.
Oh yeah, I didn't realize that. How about
Yeah,
that?
yeah, it does. And I share that. Next, you also worked with Udanis Rodriguez. Tell us about your little tenure there with him.
Okay, once I left the volunteer role with a then Assembly member Adriana Espelot, he actually took me out to lunch and introduced me to the council member. The council member was looking for a representative to serve the Marble Hill community, in addition to other areas within his district, which is District 10. That includes the Dyckman housing. That includes the different little stores, other private entities within that district. So that's Inwood, Marble Hill, Dyckman, Washington Heights. But mostly my direct charge was to help out Marble Hill and Dyckman. To go further with that, with that experience, I was able to bring to, let's say, the Marble Hill community the street code naming of an Olympian that lived in the Marble Hill development. His name was Ted Corbett.
Oh, yes. Tell us about that. Yes. Tell us.
All right, with that, since I worked for the council member, it gave me the inside track as to what was required in order to do a street code naming of an individual.
Right.
That also include me also developing a relationship with the community board, Bronx Community Board 8, which is part of the criteria required in order to do a street code naming. So partnering with Marble Hill 225, they're the ones that brought the initiative to me to have a street code named after this Olympian. And so with that and knowing what the pieces are required to do a street code naming, we first met with the people in the community board, completed the application, talked to several individuals in the neighborhood that knew Mr. Corbett, so this way they could do a write-up on him to kind of vet, his worthiness.
Right.
Then from there, with the city council, how they get involved, they too received the application from the community board, and also the letters or referrals as far as Mr. Corbett's character, and then it's also vetted. Then because everything is done in sessions, there's only two times within a year. Let's say they do a street code name and have a meeting to talk about it. And after that, then it goes forward to, once it's vetted, then everything is forwarded to the Department of Transportation, which they in turn create the sign. As you may see there, it says Ted Corbett Way, and then we have the street code naming.
All right. Well, you played a very integral role in that project and that task, and it's a tremendous undertaking to endure. Not just you by yourself, but as you mentioned, other groups and other people involved. And it's good that you broke it down into the different steps because I've heard different conversations from other communities and groups that would like to do a renaming of a street, or we see it on the news. This street has been renamed, and they give the person's name. And you just gave us pretty much step by step how it gets started, how it initiates the next
Mhm.
steps it has to go to. This way, people have an idea of how long it takes. It doesn't just come up with an idea and within 2 or 3 months you can get it to work. This is a step by step process, and I'm sure it took from anywhere 1 to 2 years to finally come to completion, Tony?
That's correct. That's correct. The one thing I failed to mention is that this may appear morbid, but it's a reality. In order to have a street co-named after an individual, that individual that you're looking to honor, that person has to have at least be deceased for at least 2 years
Wow.
in order just to start the process.
Okay.
You know, then
Okay.
you also have opportunity where, let's say if there's a store, you feel a store is so instrumental within the neighborhood, you can have a street co-named after the store, but that's a whole different process. I don't recall all the details, but again, you also work
Right.
with a community board in that regard as well.
hmm and I'm glad we brought up this topic because Ted Corbett, and he was like one of the first black men. He was a long distance runner, not the 100-yard dash, not a relay, not sprinting, but long distance runner. And I don't recall it. I was knee high to a duck at the time, but you also we were both little
Hmm.
tots. But they said he used to run from his building, 5240 Broadway, Building 9. He would go up Broadway through Yonkers, come back around the Henry Hudson Bridge, and run into Manhattan to his job every morning.
Right.
Every morning, and people in the neighborhood saw him do this. And this was an Olympian runner there living in Marble Hill. So, it does us proud to know we had somebody of great stature living there in Marble Hill, and also his son, Ted Corbett. And we have some pictures there with Tony, with the people that he named. He did work with Adriana Esplanade, Udanis Rodriguez, and also of Ted Corbett and his son Gary Corbett. And Gary Corbett was also part of this
Initiative.
yeah,
Yeah.
this initiative. Thank you. But also, you did some other good deeds of success. I understand you helped reroute the bus line of the 100 bus or something you were talking about.
Yes, one of the projects that I initiated working for the council member
Hmm.
was to find a way to provide transportation to an underserved section in the Dykeman area, really along Dykeman Street.
Right.
The idea came to me from when I used to drive the bus. I used to drive the 100 line. I drove the 10 line. I drove, several lines.
Hey,
And
Tony.
and so, what ended up happening when I started working for Udanis, I thought about this project. I actually shared the idea, and the idea was also reciprocated by some of the residents of the Dykeman houses. And with my knowledge of buses, because I worked for the Department of Buses of New York City Transit, and I also worked at different levels, so I was actually introduced and developed certain relationships with different managers, senior managers within the Department of Buses. But with all that being said, one of the things I was able to do, I was able to craft a bus route. It initially started with the BX10 because that was a short-lived line, but then confirmed with other managers within transit, we end up taking my idea and taking my drafting of the bus route and it was expanded to use the 100 line, which normally on the original route it just went right along Broadway. But what happened once it came to Dykeman Street, this is where the proposal kicked in, and they rerouted the bus to actually go across Dykeman Street from Broadway to 10th Avenue, then north of 10th Avenue up to 220th Street, and the reverse. And
Okay,
so
wonderful.
then you may have, I think I sent you a picture of at least the article that
Yes, it
showed,
was.
the ceremony for the 100
Right.
line being rerouted.
Yes,
You
indeed.
know, in addition to that, um, even though you also had express bus line that went along the Dyckman Street area corridor,
Right.
and I also petitioned to have a bus stop placed along that corridor as well, because normally the express route, it just went through Dyckman and just paid the residents no mind. So
Right.
I feel good about having that achievement, to have at least a bus express bus route stop in that area and
Thumbs
continue.
up. Thumbs up. And I'm sure the audience and our fellow viewers could agree with it. Thank you. And the wonderful work you have done, are doing, and still yet to achieve and accomplish. My hat's off to you for a job well done. Now, Tony, tell us about your position as president of Marble Hill Resident Council.
Uh, it's a very challenging but rewarding position. You have your moments where you feel you're not doing your best, but I'm always doing my best. I'm thinking about the residents here in this area, in this development, and what actually initiated me to be more involved was, again, working for the council member, because part of my charges for working for the council member was supporting the residents here in Marble Hill. You know, and though I'm no longer with the council member's office, the work that I was able to perform, the services I was able to provide, I actually was able to carry forward and end up becoming elected as the president of the Tenants Association, with that responsibility. For these residents in this development, for example, they're pretty much concerned as far as the upkeep, having repairs done on a timely basis, looking for things that are to be added new to, let's say, the daily structure of the development. And I believe I was instrumental, at least, with carrying out the majority of those charges, all those responsibilities. One of the biggest things that I could say that a lot of residents, they look for is timely repairs. That's a challenge not only to myself, but it's also a challenge to, I think, other presidents that run other housing developments under the New York City Housing Authority umbrella. You know,
Hmm.
but like myself and like with the rest of the presidents, we do our best to put our best foot forward to serve the residents of our developments.
I'm sure of that, and with that being said, heavy is the head that wears the crown. And people don't realize leadership positions, there's a lot of responsibility, a lot that goes on that you do that others don't see. But you hold yourself up well, you keep going, you keep moving. And again, you're doing a great and wonderful job. I know I speak for many people out there also as well. And
Thank you.
yeah, you do. So keep up the good work, Tony. Now, time for some fun. And growing up there in Marvin Hill, I enjoyed the fun days because we used to have the carnivals and the basketball games and other racetrack games. But I've grown up there, moved away from there for more than 30 years. But we run into other people here and there, and we always say, "Are you going back to Marble Hill?" Because we know on the third Saturday of August is, and it was originally called Family Day or Marble Hill Day, but we knew to come back to Marble Hill on that third Saturday of every month. And this was established 30 some odd years ago. People might have chopped it up, gave it slang titles, and different groups do this, that, and the other. But give us the origination of what that day is, where it came down from, Niger. Explain that to us. Break it
Sure.
down, Tony.
Well, as as you mentioned, Family Day. That's the actual original or legal name under the New York City Housing Authority, because it's through New York City Housing Authority and the Tenants Association that puts on this one-day event, which is called Family Day. Now, here in Marble Hill, there's also been tagged Marble Hill Day, but that's just like I said, it's a tag that's placed on by residents, um, to announce this particular festivity. But the legal name under the New York City Housing Authority is called Family Day. You have other developments, or you may have Dyckman. Dyckman may call their day Dyckman Day, or Dyckman Family Day. And there are so many developments that's involved in this. Um, the other thing with Family Day, that a lot of people should be aware of is that it's really a one day of festivity. All right, that's when the housing authority tends to relax its rules a little bit, where people could enjoy barbecue or barbecuing on the grounds. But technically, that's not something that should be done. You know, you have one development, for example, Pelham Parkway houses. They actually have a barbecue pit or barbecue grounds on their property, so that's a designated area. Other than that, each development is considered residential property. Things like barbecuing is really outdoor on any other given day. You know, but like I said, for that one day, the rules are kind of relaxed, and the residents are able to come outside, not only enjoy what the tenants association is able to provide, but it gives them an opportunity to, with a small grill set, do their own little thing as well. But again, even though the rules are relaxed, there's still rules and regulations you have to follow.
All right. And wherever we go in life, there are rules and regulations. And one thing my mother, your mother, our parents tell us, you have to follow somebody's rules wherever you go. And if you don't follow the rules, life will teach you. So, it's best for us to follow the rules, even not just of family day, but of the housing developments we live in, where we work, and especially now throughout this COVID pandemic time and tenure, make sure we follow the rules, okay? Wear your mask, stay sanitized, keep your social distancing, and obey the rules that are around you regarding this COVID time, pandemic time. We're running out of time, not running out of time, but time is closing in on us. So I'm going to say once again, thank you to our guests. But Tony, I'm going to bring you back and I'm going to ask you, and to be brief in just about 1 minute, what type of investment would you like to see made in a community, along with where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Well, as far as the community, I'd like to be able to bring more activities into the development, give the residents and their families other options, as far as what to do with their day. As growing up in here in Marble Hill, one of the biggest festivities or enjoyable parts of our day or after school day was going to the community center. The community center was very active. Even though we had a pool table, ping pong tables, there's also at times where they're able to provide trips, which is very exciting, and it was very instrumental towards the growth of the individuals in the neighborhood. Now, getting to your second question, where do I see myself in the next 5 years? Alive, healthy, and be able to be part of the Mobile community and help with the additional investment towards the uplifting of the community and making more than what it currently is.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Tony, for being the guest on the show for Marble Hill Neighborhood 225 and you. And I just want to thank you for sharing yourself with us and giving us some input and some solid facts on some things we didn't know. So
Okay.
I really appreciate it. And like I said, I speak on behalf of myself and behalf of other people. You've done a fabulous job in this community, and we thank you. Okay.
Okay.
We thank you. You've done a
And thank
great
you for having me. Thank you
You're
for having
welcome.
me.
You're welcome. Stay there. And one thing also I didn't mention, and I think it's very important because we mentioned about the seniors, and we mentioned you did do a trip with the kids to the Intrepid, or part of that money that's for the community. I'm sure there's going to be some more activities for the kids as well.
Okay. Well, the one thing that I forgot to mention, like for the seniors, was able to establish a new type of event. It's called the Senior Empowerment Series.
Hmm.
The first one took place, I believe, it was in 2019. All right. But what I'm looking to do because of COVID, what I'm looking to do is continue the series. And basically, it's just social discussions with the seniors and be able to take them outside the neighborhood as opposed to bring them into the community center and just talk about things. But it's a way to change the scenery, change the atmosphere, and
Hmm.
allow residents or senior residents to speak freely and not be inhibited about the surroundings. You
Okay.
know, the first trip was taking place at the Wave Hill Cultural Gardens.
Okay.
That's up in Riverdale.
Right.
Where it sits up in Riverdale, it overlooks the Hudson River over to New Jersey.
Right.
This event, it turned out to be very successful, and so they gave me the chutzpah to try to do a second event. Hopefully,
Okay.
when things gonna calm down, we'll do the second one soon.
Okay, just want to put a footnote on this episode, and I sincerely would like to thank Mr. Tony Edwards for appearing on the show, for being my guest, our guest on Marble Hill 225 Neighborhood and You, for him sharing his lifestyle, his passion from his heart, his commitment to the community, what he has done, what he is doing, and is still yet about to do more for the community. And I say it with sincere thanks and sincere honor of knowing him, not just even knowing him since childhood, but knowing him from childhood up until now. He has been a good man, an honorable man. And I know his lifestyle and I know his life, and he's a good person. So, once again, we're thankful for all that he's done is as being president of the resident council in the Marble Hill houses. And we thank you for the good job that you've been doing, and also the good job that you still have to do. We're going to keep you here. We're going to keep you for a longevity time. You still have a lot more work that you need to do with us. Thank you, Tony. God bless you. Take care of you.
Have a good evening.
Marble Hill Day. This is Big Lou, DJ Big Lou, representing Marble Hill Day. I've been coming out here for the last 20 years. I want everybody to have a good time. Come on out, support the place. All right? The #1 in oldies. Come on out and have some fun. I want to thank everybody for your support. Represent.
Hey, good afternoon, folks. We're here at Marble Hill. My name is Luis B. Vargas. I represent Milagros, New York, and LA Latin Caribbean cuisine. And it's a pleasure to be up here helping out this great occasion and just hanging out with good family and friends. There's some things that's been going on that are beautiful. I say people doing different activities, hanging out, playing, laughing. The kids are out playing. It's just nice to see the camaraderie and see Marble Hill come together as a unity. And if you get a chance, you need to come out and check this out. It happens every year, and this is one of the things that I plan on making from here on in. You guys have a beautiful day now, and come on out and see us.
Well, my name is Clifford Aikman, former resident of Marble Hill Houses and former caretaker of the New York City Housing Authority. I worked there in Marble Hill for 25 years, and I love Marble Hill. I live in North Carolina now, and will always come back as long as I can to enjoy it. All right?
Hey, how y'all doing? This is